Look, first of all, I want to thank all of these folks for coming out today. We're surrounded by members of the Louisiana Racing Commission, the HPBA, the Thoroughbred Association, Arthur Morrell, who is a former legislator and a horse owner. And I think that this is an extremely important issue that for a large part has flown under the radar. You know, since 1812, when Louisiana became a state, it has not only regulated horse racing, but we built an entire culture and a heritage and an industry here in this state on our own. And whether you're a jockey, a trainer, an owner, a racetrack, or simply those that go and enjoy the sport, we've come to love horse racing in Louisiana. And I think everyone who's standing around me agrees that the integrity and safety in horse racing is always paramount. And while no industry is without its problems, you know, Louisiana and West Virginia and all the other associations that have joined us in this suit have always strictly been able to effectively regulate the industry. And I believe that Louisiana and its people should be firmly in control of horse racing and not some group of politicians or corporate elites in some faraway place. And that's what HISA basically stood up. It stood up a group of folks who have really no stake in Louisiana and in her culture and in her heritage, and then they're going to come into this state and regulate our horse racing industry. And I believe that that's wrong, and that's why we've stood up. You know, it's also important that Congress ramrodded this piece of legislation and tucked it into the COVID-19 bill in the dark of night. I've been to Congress, and I can tell you there are some red flags and things that come out of Congress, and you know when there's a problem, when something of this magnitude is tucked in with no real committee hearings, no real input from stakeholders, and then it's passed. And so it sets up, the biggest problem, and what we're arguing today is it sets up this massive regulatory scheme that is onerous on everyone. But then to add insult to injury, it's paid for on the backs of the folks who labor the most, but actually receive the least out of the industry. And so today we will be in the Fifth Circuit arguing our case. There's a case right before it, which is the Texas case, which the Texas HPBA has against this shit, and they're arguing the constitutionality of the law. And so again, I just wanted to thank all of the folks who joined me today who really care about not only horse racing, but Louisiana, her culture, and her heritage. And I mean, what better place to have this argument but in New Orleans, which is that percent of where the culture and heritage started for this state. And so again, I want to thank the press for being here today, and certainly